Question 2.
How does your media product represent different social groups?
We're going to look at the representation of gender. Within this, there are 2 different social groups, which are male and female.
Firstly, we looked at males. The main males in our opening sequence was the kidnappers. These are stereotypically right because they were quite strong, powerful, tall, and
Bulky.
and scary.
There were females as well, and typically for a party, most of them are in dresses.
They were very vulnerable, especially Lily, as she was very vulnerable with the kidnappers and with the drinking. She was peer pressured into drinking.
There was 2 different types of girls. There was the more outgoing girls and the more shy girls. And the more shy girls were dressed less revealing, and then the other girls were more revealing, which showed that they wanted more boy attention. Which is generally what happens in our society these days. I mean, come on, doesn't it?
Yes. Secondly, we looked at
Ethnicity.
the way we looked at this is stereotypically you'd find that the gangsters or the kidnappers or the scary people in the teenage age is black boys, but our kidnappers were Bromley white boys.
They're both white, and we wanted to do this because it shows that kidnappers can be anyone. Opening sequence is targeted to teenagers. We thought that we would have our kidnappers being white to show that it's not just black people and that it's like anyone can kidnap you.
The third representation that we looked at was class and status.
Everyone in our opening sequence had a similar class, so this didn't really affect much of our opening sequence, really. We more focused on status, and the 2 kidnappers had the most status out of everyone in our opening sequence. This also links to the fact that they're boys as well, so typically they're more in control because they're stronger.
We showed that in our opening sequence by the boys being the ones who bite the girl's drink, who kidnap her. There's pictures of them like showing that they're making her struggle and they have power over her and they're stronger than her. So we did this to emphasise the point.
The 4th representation group was the physical disability or ability. Well, everyone had the same ability in our opening sequence. We didn't really look at that as a party wasn't really...
However, when Lily was spiked, she was sort of physically disabled because she couldn't walk as well as she did before the drink.
She wouldn't have been very aware of the situation.
So as she was more physically disabled, she couldn't run away or get away easily, which the kidnappers knew would happen when they spiked her drink.
So therefore they made her more vulnerable so that it was easier to kidnap her and have power over her. The next representation we looked at was age. Everyone in our opening sequence was teenagers, so they were all of a similar age. The teenagers in our opening sequence were shown at a house party with alcohol and drugs, which is stereotypically what you see. Like when you watch the news, you often hear about incidents at parties with teenagers due to drinks and drugs. So we thought that this would be a good thing to show in our opening sequence because it warns the audience of situations that they could end up in.
As our target audience was of teenagers.
To everyone else, maybe older or younger, teenagers seen as rowdy. So we made sure that the party was loud and the music was really loud. This could cause problems maybe with neighbours and stuff, but
public disturbances.
Yeah, which is always complained of with kids our age, but
so we just wanted to show the stereotype explicitly.
The next representation group is sexuality.
Everyone in our opening sequence was assumed to be heterosexual,
which creates a motive for the kidnappers because they may have taken Lily for sexual reasons. But that's assuming it's not.
We didn't reveal anything because obviously you don't want to reveal that much information.
Yeah.
Just an opening
so
sequence.
Then from the opening sequence, it can make the audience think, oh, why have they taken her? Have they taken her to kill her? Have they taken her to get money out of her, to abuse her? It leaves it open so that we don't reveal the whole film, as this one said.
The last representation was regional identity.
We set our house party in Croydon, which is known as a very rough area.
Stereotypically, most areas of Croydon is quite rowdy and full of teenagers out and about.
For example, in the news, a few years ago there was the whole incident with the riots, so that shows
Which started in Croydon.
Yeah, it did. We thought we'd use that
as like a typical setting.
Yeah, to show that something could go wrong and there's people who aren't brought up in a good way there, aka the kidnappers.
All of the characters, like all of the girls that were friends, they were all of the same regional identity mostly, and as they went to the same school, and they shows how close they were and their age as well.
they all have the same dialect, so like they might say the same slang words as each other, which only like they would understand, not people from say Liverpool or Manchester.
That was well weird.
That's our social groups.
That's all for today, folks.
Thank you.